Good evening, everybody. Welcome back as ever to Building Blocks, and oh boy, I have such sights to show you all. So, last time we were working on the changelings and getting them to interact with their rooms and store stuff instead of just having the rooms tell the changelings to come and pay a visit so it can do stuff. And the last week I have been working exclusively on the inscribing system. So let's have a quick look at that in-game. So, previously, we've had access to magic scrolls, and to get those scrolls, you need to know a certain combination of things, as well as have certain items and a number of other stuffs. Now, hopefully, I haven't broken the heck out of this. Fairly certain I haven't, but let's see. Yep, we're good. Okay, so here we have a inscribing table view. There are two major views. There's the on hand and there's the inscribing table, which I've thus far left alone. And you need some inks, so white, green, blue, and red. You need some paper, because currently we only allow you to actually make scrolls. Later on, we'll probably allow you to make, like, other enchanted things, as well as, like, wands and whatnot, which are basically scrolls, but with, like, 50 times as much usage. And the inscribing table as well also has the distinction of having a, well, not as well as an inventory that you can feed into, as we can tell by the chests over here, but also it has like a reference slot. So if you already know what a spell, if you already have a copy of a given spell, you can make more, provided you have all the ingredients for it. And previously what we had was this system here, where if you had the right 4-color combination, bearing in mind there can be repeats, and it's completely random-ish, then you can make a brand new scroll. And it was fine. Like, that's not terrible. The problem is that, firstly, 4 colors, 4 slots, allowing repeats, order important. You've only got 256 combinations. Now, that might sound like a lot, but there's already about a fifth of that actually in use, and I haven't even begun to code a lot of the spells that I would like to see inside of this game. So, yeah, not actually all that great. And also, given that no one can ever really have a hard fix on what they're going for, basically means that every single time you start up a new world, it's a complete potluck as to whether or not you know, like, whether or not you will ever even begin to identify the combination of your favorite spell. So I've been working on making this a lot better, and I've been working using the paper version, which has a much lower, like, actual spell limit. And if I go to survival mode, just for this little view here, being off school equals more time to watch streams. Hey, good to know. A new guest? Yes, we have Box Fox and we have Cube Cat in the office, and here we have, of course, Cube Cat and Carol. And this is what I've currently got together. It is not finalized with regards to the textures, but everything else is fine. So we stick our stuff in, and we start to see stuff pop up. Not all of the buttons have an icon just yet, but working on it. And things have changed considerably. So no longer are you using just ink. You actually have to know what you need to draw on them. So consequently, every single color now has 10 associated properties of spells. Those properties, however, do not change between worlds. So a magic missile is always a magic missile is always a magic missile, that kind of thing. And there are some caveats to how and when you can actually, like, put in a given property. Every spell has 5, those 5 are always the same, but when you're entering them here, if I start clicking onto some of these, you will see them start to go away. So let's go with area, and we can see a bunch just turned off. The reason being, there is no spell that I have available to me that has those properties and the property I just entered. Meaning, as I continue to go through here, we will progressively get a spell that I can actually cast. So let's go Force, Harm, arrow, distance, and precision, magic missile. Got it. And what's more, it checks two distinct things, additionally. So you can also only enter a property if it is innate, I'll describe that in a moment, or if you are carrying a scroll or other magic container item that happens to have that particular, like, property in the spell. Any spell it's contained, so spellbooks are especially important and useful for this. The second thing is innate, as I mentioned. There are a set of innate properties that are randomly determined per player account. So every single time you start the world, it checks your unique ID, and it randomly selects a number, I think it's like 5, of the level 0 or 1 available spells, which can be configured out to be much smaller, and gives you all of the properties associated with those. So, consequently, there's no level 1 or 0 spell that has the Death property, for instance, so players will start out never having access to the Death property, which is kind of good, because that gives them stuff like Power Word Kill at higher levels. So, to summarize the things that you can actually, like, inscribe, there's all of the buttons, by the way. That's all of the properties in nice, wonderful arrangements. And this is, by the way, formulaic. I haven't actually, like, had to go in and hand position every single one of these, so it's lovely. So, in order to craft something, you have to have sufficient ink to even enter all of the properties. You need to have paper, you need to have sufficient levels, you need to have a high enough caster level, you need to be using a system that allows you to craft a spell of that particular level, only up to level 2, I believe it is, for just by hand in the field. Inscribing tables, much higher, but they need mystic power. And we can go all the way through here. It's so lovely. So, I hit Earth. We only got those ones that actually have, like, connect to a spell that has Earth. I can hit Darkness, and we got Condemnation, Vision, Sound, and Precision. That gets us the word of Blindness. And basically, with this, I did the math. This is 658,008 potential combinations. But we've made it much easier to find spells you actually want. We have made it no more complex in terms of physical resources. You just need the ink and such. It's slightly more expensive because there's one more ink per spell. It's not that much, really. You can duplicate inks quite easily. And it still has the possibility of the material components. We still have the possibility of the reference slot. That's not going away at all. So if you start out knowing what the combination is for Magic Missile, you are very easily able to make Magic Missile. So let's see. Force, Harm, Precision, Distance, Arrow. There we go. And I'm probably going to be changing the way these buttons are highlighted, but there you go. What do we think, everybody? Because that's probably what we're mostly going to be working on tonight. Hugs for the guest friends. Blip. They vibrate. And I'm going to presume, at least for the moment, that CubeCat can in fact, like, dab. I don't know how, but I'm going to presume for the moment that CubeCat can in fact dab. Dreading having to go get groceries? I have to do that tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. I also just found out that my dad has had direct contact with my godparents, who are vulnerable, to say the least. Let's find out. Okay. CubeCat. Dab. Dab. Well, you know, they're a cat. They don't take commands, I'm afraid. Sorry. Sorry, folks. No dabbing from the CubeCat just yet. Okay. Right. So, currently, as we saw there when I was inscribing with this, nothing actually pops out when you actually use this. So, consequently, we need to fix up that, and then this will be ready to go, and then I can port it over to the inscribing table, and it should be able to work across the whole thing. Phew. So yeah, by the by, you can see, it only checks for properties you have access to, in addition to the spells thing. if you are in survival mode, if you're in creative mode, then you can craft any spell. Like, it doesn't care at that point. It doesn't matter about your access to properties. So, yeah, consequently, I can just pick that up, it's fine. But yeah, pretty nice. So we need to set the crafting spell inside of the container and make sure that it's actually, like, pops up. Work in a supermarket, you still need to shop? Oh dear. Yeah, I found out that, yeah, my dad had definite contact with my vulnerable godparents, and, oh... Like, my dad, I'm gonna be kind, my dad is not an idiot. But, my dad does tend to not quite understand things. You work at a chicken place? I presume working at a chicken place, I presume you already have sufficient, like, guards against bacteria and such. That's not viruses, but it's a start at the very least. You probably have, like, a hygiene standard. You work at Costco? Oh dear. Well, Godspeed to Yazaki. Okay. Container. Yep, would help if I could spell. Ink. Paper. Okay. So. Private. And we're going to need magic effect. Current spell. Start that off as null. And we're ideally going to need an item stack here. So, current base stack. We're going to presume that that's scroll. So, new item stack. VO items.scroll. Because again, we're going to add later on that you can craft different things. So you can craft your ones if you like it without having to craft 50 separate scrolls. Dear God. By the way, canonically, that is pretty much the expense that it takes to make a scroll, to make a wand versus a scroll. Holy butts, Alantor. So much love.
Lying just wanted to say thanks to you and to your community for being great.
Oh.
If it WASNT for y'all, I don't think I would have met my wonderful girlfriend who I'm making me very happy.
Okay, we've never named the text-to-speech, but Karen, you might need to work on the elocution a bit, but thank you so much for that, Alantor. That definitely means a lot right now. Yeah, like, in D&D, it actually does take, like, 50 times the normal requirements of a scroll to make a wand. It's a little absurd, but... But okay, so we've got the paper slot, that's fine. There's the results slot. There's the ink slot, so we need to go through those. And then there's the reagents that we also need to go through. So, because the recipes are now consistent on both the client and the server side without us having to send anything across, then we can just check from the spell to find out what colors of ink and in what numbers we need to remove from the crafting supplies. We obviously only need to remove one thing from the paper slots, that's fairly straightforward. And then the same again, remove one from reagent slots, or at least sufficient from the reagent slots. That should be about enough. So the next thing that we need to do is essentially overwrite everything that's in Container Ink currently, because it does a bunch of stuff related to confirming its recipe and whatnot, and we need to make it not do that, or it will immediately get rid of a lot of stuff. That said, this is all working with its own specific stuff, so it might not have to for at least the time being. We do have access to those already because they're protected and not private. So, as long as we can actually just set the spell and such, we should be good. So let's see on result taken. That should be the major thing that we need to change here. Where does that get called? Out of quick curiosity. Slot result ink. Gotcha. So yeah, it goes for the current combination as well as the reagents. That is fine. Most of this we can just clone. Most of it. And let's bring that down here. Okay. So, we don't care about the current recipe, because we have no notion of it. We don't care about the current ink combination. So we are just... Yep, that part's all good. And... Okay. So, we need to get the properties list. So, list enum spell property, of which there are 40, equals this dot current spell dot spell properties. Okay, so for enum spell property, because every single property has a corresponding color of ink. We can probably already short that to just that. Okay, enum die color equals property dot get color. Yeah. Does that mean Alan is now my sib as well? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay, continuing on. So, for each one, we need to take one of the corresponding stack away. Can I get this? I should be able to get that from... as a switch, maybe? Yeah. So, switch... color... case white... case green... case red... and a case blue. In the course of adding, by the way, 40 different spell properties, I did end up sort of characterizing the different colors in ways that you might not necessarily expect. So let me see. Red is evil. White is holy. I'm not saying good. It is the specific names of them are holy and unholy. Green is order. Blue is chaos. Taking a little bit from my Magic the Gathering playing there. Green is also simultaneously, let me see, white is the color of creation, but green is the color of change. Green is also the color of deaf and undeaf. Makes a lot of sense if you think of it as nature. And of course we also have fire, water, wind, air, and earth and such, so there's that. And default, do nothing if somehow we found a property of a color we don't recognize. So, okay, we need to get the slots, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And this dot get, yeah, it would be the craft supplies dot decrease slot 1 by 1. There we go. That should be all that's necessary there. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should get rid of the inks. Next up, the reagents. The reagents are also defined by the spell, so we don't necessarily need to actually ask a recipe for it. A recipe that we're completely ignoring at this exact time. And XP to inscribe has also been cloned into the spell. Which I believe is part of now just iMagic effect. So, yeah. Okay. So that should take away all the reagents that we need, should get rid of all the ink that we've used. We are decreasing the stack there of our crafting supplies. Let's just crafting supplies there. So if there's not that, or this dot current spell equals null. Shouldn't ever be the case, but just in case it is. Okay. So all of that is fine for when we actually take out the result. That should mean we've now got that separated from the original container ink. I'm mostly not touching anything else on the basis that it'll break a lot of stuff and it'll take forever to fix. So, trying to avoid that if I can for the moment. Where is your big save in your day? Oh, I see. Understood now. Okay, next thing. We need to check if we actually have the things set here. Let's see, has full combination, confirm a recipe. So do we have paper, do we have full combination, do we have the right inks? You shouldn't ever be able to even enter a spell that you don't have the right inks for. A lot of hedging is now done GUI end. So let's go with confirm recipe. Let's grab that out. So results stack equals this dot current base stack dot copy. So is paper, do we have a full combination? Answer to that is, do we have a spell? If we have a spell, then yes we do. Can we fulfill the ingredients? Again, also true. But I believe that also refers to the reagents. Okay, current ingredients. Can't tell me metadata. Yeah, that's got to be ink. Find stack of sufficient size in supplies. That I... Is the ingredients the ink or something else? Off the current one, get current ingredients. Yes, get current supplies. What? Which of these is which? Oh dear lord.
Thank you.
Meow? Meow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Supplies references the crafting resources, so that's the inks. Okay. So get supplies is working on that. Okay. So that, then we need to put to the same thing. Current spell does not equal null, because again, if we didn't have sufficient ink to enter in, say, free blue properties, then we wouldn't have the recipe to begin with. Okay. Next thing, we don't care about the spell level, because again, that is handled by the GUI. We don't care about the combination, we don't care about that recipe at all anymore. So we're just looking for that part right there. Just quickly checked there that I'm in the right, that I'm actually in the right window, because Lord knows I could break things horribly otherwise. And current recipe shouldn't need to be changed at all. Okay. Oh, are you guys fighting over the number 1 spot? That should all be good now. Okay, let's see, GUI ink. Yeah, it's all handled by the update screen section here now. Okay. So if our current spell does not equal null, let's say we've completed one, container set current recipe, which I believe is currently specific. Yeah, so okay. That is well, not specific right now, so public void set current spell magic effect spell in this dot current spell equals spell in. Okay. Have our new GUI set to that. Nope, wrong thing. And otherwise, tell it null. It's not. I could have it ask, do you already have the ingredients to actually like apply the reagents? But if you don't know what the spell is yet, that's probably a bit much. Okay. That now should be nearly good. Nearly. Let's see what we get from that. I was gonna ask if you could get a noogle, but oh, noogie, but then you read the word right. Ah, I see. Wonder what's for dinner? For me at least, it's chicken soup. We're a little shy on groceries in the Fox Den at the moment. But also, it's been a rough, like, 3 months, and also there's a pandemic going around, so, don't have much to do to change that, really. Okay, so, let's see what happens now if we enter, let's see, force arm, blip, blip, blip. Heckle, currently. Okay, there's a problem. There is a definite problem. Probably that we're not, actually telling it. I'm taking a wild guess there. Probably that we're not actually telling it. And currently it still uses the recipe system. The old recipe system. We should help more. Burry, you are helping tremendously. By which I mean I have a pretty decent idea of whomstead of Anonymous is inside of my gift subscriptions tab. Not a perfect idea, but yeah. Okay, so there's probably something inside of here that's actually preventing us from seeing anything. Where does that get called? Confirm recipe. Container ink, slot changed, combination grid. Okay, that's not getting updated then. Craft matrix changed. Let's clone those over here and tell them to just confirm the recipe. Do we need a combo? Not really, no. Neither of those things are actually referenced in our confirm recipe. Yeah. Oh, actually, we shouldn't even be able to even enter it if we don't have any paper in, so that's fine. Essentially, we're making the container very dumb. Like, giving it very little information here. Slot changed combination grid, that's fine. Again, we don't actually need basically anything here. I think that'll do alright, let's see. As it happens, Burry, it's been a relatively good month. Economically, except for the preceding and including this 3 months of big purchases necessary. Like, hey, you suddenly have to take care of a cat for a few days. You have absolutely nothing necessary to take care of a cat. Or, hey, you have literal megabytes left on your storage drive. It's like, ooh. None of these things were things I could avoid, really. but relatively speaking, it's actually been a really decent few years. Okay, let's try that again. We have all the stuffs we need. So force. Still nothing interesting. Let's check our system. Doesn't mean you don't want to help more. Fair point. Fair point. Okay, just gonna see how much this is actually interacting. So it'll put out a little message when it actually updates the output slot, as well as when it like checks through everything. When it gets set and when it goes through. Okay, let's see what happens. If I had $1 million as the song goes, I mean, even by like the somewhat depressing thing about that song. Which is by Bare Naked Ladies, I think it is. The somewhat depressing thing about that is that, don't get me wrong, but my UI is a cluster fudge. In what fashion? Like, the somewhat depressing thing about that song is that due to inflation, $1 million isn't actually a lot. Like, I have a few different millionaire friends. And they're living comfortably, but they're not rich. Like, $1 million is maybe 3 houses. Maybe. And that's not including upkeep on them, utilities and such. I missed one here. Hang on. Bloop. Okay, current spell is being set, but we're still not seeing anything because it's not updating the output slot. Okay. For one, some of the UI is offset from the background. That's a texturing thing. That's purely just a texturing thing. Also, there's like 8 of them out of 40. And those are some of the rarest to find as well. $1 million would mean your friends wouldn't be living hand to mouth. Temporarily, but yes. It's like, let me do a quick check. What is the minimum wage of the US right now? Okay, 7.25 US dollars per hour. Assume 40-hour work week. That's 290 a week. Times 52 weeks a year. That's 15,080 per year. Just less than, but that's significantly more than I make actually. Over 15,080. That is 66 years. So it's not like, and that's assuming of course you didn't spend a thing. It's like, I think somebody worked it out. If you made a very tidy sum on an hourly basis since history began, you would be a multi-millionaire, you wouldn't be a billionaire. Just, what? It's like the numbers. Just utterly bizarre. Okay, so we're confirming the recipe. I guess we need to update the slot. So, on craft matrix changed. Would help if I could spell. And let's also store a value of the current spell. Because it's probably not dreadfully useful that we keep setting it every single tick. So, if current spell Okay. Let's see, how do I want to work this in? That's the next question. If current spell does not equal get current spell, I guess. Not running that quite as often. Today you felt ill, so you went home. Good idea. Very, very responsible. Bear in mind, though, that you can be asymptomatic for about 2 weeks, and symptoms can manifest up to 5 days after actual initial infection. So that's why a lot of places are putting people at home for months. It's You want to be overkill. You don't want to be underkill, especially when the results may kill. Find out that your work for health and safety is shunning hours of the store being open, but in their research mask will not help, so I don't wear any. And for the front end where you mainly work, the this is not needed. Just work as normal. Okay. You now have pathologic. Ooh, enjoy. Everything up here, I think. We probably want to put this first, so everything else can draw the latest value. So yeah, pretty much all of the actual checking that we previously did as part of the container is now actually done by the GUI. Which, oh, now Beb. Okie doke. Hey Nick. Have a good slip. Okay, so now it's not updating itself quite as frequently. We can also check everywhere else that we ask for that and just say what is the current value of the current spell. Because it's relatively heavy to check this. So, the less we can do that, the better. Our goal here now, essentially, is to just tell the output what it should be. So there's a few things that can clear the inscription entirely, by the by. So if you don't have enough ink to fulfill the current inscription, then it will clear it. If you... I'll put a sticks point by button. Maybe, but I don't know how I'd redeem that exactly. If you... don't have any paper in the slots, then that also clears the inscription. If you can't cast the spell that's in there, then you also don't get it in there. But okay, so... Force, harm, precision, distance, arrow. Nothing. Interesting. But it is updating the output slot, we're just not seeing it here. I can see that in the actual log. Odds are 50-50 sound good until you try to... the odds are 50-50 sound good until you try to plug in a USB drive. Be used when I'm supposed to go on a break? Yeah. It's supposed to be used when I'm supposed to go on a break. That'd be more accurate. Okay, I think we do need to send a message. I think that's a thing that we are gonna have to do. So we update the craft matrix, which updates the slot. And there's that. But I think it's because that only happens client side, and we need to tell the server what we're currently looking at. Make sure you have an envelope and a stamp to send the message. Yada yada yada. Yeah. Yeah, so it's updating client side, and it needs to be updating server side. So we need to tell the server what that slot is as well. Okay. So currently, because it's determined server side because of the random spell combinations, we need to actually inform the server what we're looking at as opposed to the client, which is the way this currently goes. Okay. Did I make that a bidirectional or is that a directional? That is a client side. Okay. New. Packet set slot 2. Actually, this isn't my code. This is vanilla. Interesting. Esper, what strangeness have you manufactured there? And we basically just want all of this stuff already. What are you missing? Process, entity player, and side. Okay. Don't care about those values at all. Plonk these where they should be. There we go. Okay. So, we need to retrieve the container and set the slot. We have the slots, we have the window, we have the item that we need to put in there. So, player.container, open container, yes. Dot set slots, nope. Inventory slots, would that be the thing? Put stack in slot, there you are. So, slot and item. That should be what we need. And a bit of packet handler, add that. So many packages, oh boy. Okay, and then over here, so if world and dot is remote, packet handler, send to server, set slot to. Okay. Gonna leave this one in just in case this somehow requires that. Okay, let's see how we do. We know it's updating it, so that's a good start. A lucky clover? Is that a beard on that shame bowl? Oh, that needs washing. If your shame bowl is fuzzy, it needs washing. Badly. Okay, let's see what we got. Once gotten this part working, it's a lot easier to get the other. Hooray! Scroll of Magic Missile. Which we can't pick up currently, but you know, it's progress. Hooray. And if I take this out, it clears it. Good, it goes away. That is good progress. Very good progress. Ho. Okay, it's gonna take me more than 2 minutes to get anything else done here, so back in about 10 minutes, everybody.
Tombstone chiseled the code of a machine. That is all.
Welcome back, everybody. So when we just left off there, we had gotten the actual thing to appear in the slot, so that's progress, because now it means we actually have an item there representing our completed work, and we now need to actually make sure we can take it out. So, gonna start with that by changing this out of slot result ink, which was previously the thing that required can we fulfill the reagents, do we have the XP, that kind of thing. We're now, well, since reagents are the only thing that we actually have to worry about, and the next thing is our XP. We already check for that with our GUI anyways, so that's fine. So we're gonna just create a clone of this inside of container ink paper and modify it accordingly. It is gonna be mostly identical to container to slot result, so that's fine. We have no slot inks anymore. They're no longer, well, well, we have those because they just only take that, but they're not that hugely relevant anymore, suffice to say. But we are very close to having this work. Ink revised, I guess? So on result taken, that's fine. Let's just take a look at slot results. Is there not? No? Okay. Could have sworn there was. Container crafting. No? I guess that's part of inventory. Oh, okay. So if we have a stack and the parent container can fulfill the reagents, then return true. Or to simplify, return get has stack and parent container can fulfill reagents. If any. And then we actually need to modify can fulfill reagents because that currently asks for a current recipe. That said, shouldn't have a problem with that because our new thing doesn't actually need to care, mostly. So blip, if current spell does not equal null and current spell does not require requires reagents. Does that should be has reagents? Needs reagents, there we are. So blip, go through that whole thing, good. That should now override the existing one. Yep. So slot result ink over there, as well as our revised one. That should hopefully mean that we're now actually able to take it out. Let's find out. And then we've got a lot of work ahead of us. You might have noticed that Microsoft Excel is open down there. There's a good reason for that. Which we'll find out if I've gotten this working. Okay, so, once again, harm, force, precision, distance, arrow, sequence doesn't matter. This has no reagents necessary. It'll let us take it. Got that going for us, so if I can shift click it. But it did not take it, and gonna take a wild guess and say one of these is actually fake. Let's see if we do that. Nope, they are actually real. Interesting. Okay. But we didn't get any loss of materials, so that's a thing that we need to do. Also, it didn't let us actually natively take it out, which is another problem. So on results taken, container ink paper there. Did we not change that? Could have sworn we changed that. Yes, we did. That might be why it was weird. Because it had no current combination, so it didn't do anything. I guess because that's container ink and not something else. Oh, also we didn't actually tell it to use the new one. Whoopsie. So, onslaught, like, on result taken, where's that taken from? That is used in here. Okay, good. What we're making? We are working on heavily revising our magic spell inscribing system inside of the various oddities Minecraft mod. Because previously it was just, here's 4 colors in a sequence of 4. Guess. Now there's actually, like, a lot more, like, possible combinations, as well as a much more easy to use system. Though I confess it might not look so at the start of it. Okay, so jump those in. Well, we ain't using it soon. We're not able to grab it just yet, it seems, but we can shift click and still nothing happened. Interesting. But there's the link if you want to check it out. Okay. What could be going wrong here? That is the question. Guessing it has more to do with the legacy code than anything else. Let's make sure it's actually calling our result one, or I say our, this result taken. Slot does not equal null, slot has stack, and slot.can take stack would probably be a good thing to include. So what could be preventing us from fulfilling the reagents here? Did we not fix that up? Yeah, it's right there. But of course it's go to the other one. Okay. Let's say that it just defaults to true, because that's probably going to save us a lot more trouble here. What's the story behind the username? Yeah, that is... yeah. That is 100% a Neopets Digimon kind of reference way back when. Heat, pressure, and time can both make a diamond and a waffle? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But okay, so... I guess the major question, the first question we have here is, why will it not let us just pick it up? Only one is edible? Technically, both of them are, but you only gain nutrients from one. Okay, so now that should just jump to our... yeah. Okay. Just shorten this a little bit. Long time since you heard the word Neopets. Oof. Is it strictly speaking a word? That's the question. But yeah, I signed up for Neopets in like 96, I want to say, and it was like, okay, come up with a username. Sure. First time anything had ever asked me that. And it stuck. It stuck very hard. Your account still exists, but you can't get in because you can't remember what the birth date you used for. Did you lie about your age on Neopets, per? Of all of the things. Okay, so what could be preventing us from getting what we need here? Everyone did? Don't know about everybody. Candle full ingredients, we got that. Or do we? No, we should be able to fulfill the ingredients regardless. Because there's nothing, like, the GUI shouldn't put anything there if there's nothing that we could make. Has full combination is irrelevant for us. Confirm recipe, we've checked. Should be all good, so why can't we pick it up? That is the question. Let's check our GUI here. Might be the way the item stacks work. So, let's see, confirm recipe. It's always getting a copy though, so it can't just be getting a duplicate of what we got. It was 13 plus at the time to use Neopets, was it? Huh. Color me surprised then. Well, let's just see if it's done anything here. And just while that boots, I'm gonna add this. At the time, it wasn't purely child-friendly. Is it? Is it now? Because, like, Club Penguin, you see some stuff. Okay, it does tell me the result's been taken out. Down here. Like, down in the log here, it does tell me that it's been taken, but it doesn't actually put it into my thing here. Interesting. Very curious indeed. Okay, container inventory. Or workbench, there you are. So there's slot crafting. Let's have a look at what that does. Swap craft, on crafting, on take. There we go. Oh, you do a bunch of stuff here. Okay. Get stack and slots for the craft matrix. Updates the recipe log. Okay, fire the crafting events. Gotcha. You have to turn your sound down in Minecraft whenever you go into your house because you have so many ravens. Whose fault is that, Dusty? Let's see, so it goes through the remaining items. Okay, right. Wonder if that means we should put something similar, like the reagent and whatnot, subtraction, into our container then. Into our slot, as it were. So take this and actually put it inside of their listings. Probably be smart, wouldn't it? But for that, we need to put reagents and supplies inside of the slot. Okay, so we need the magic effect. Spell container, not magic. Mistake. Should be fine. Should be fine. Rename that to reagent. Oh, there's an unfortunate mistyping. Okay, what am I doing currently? I'm trying to get it so that we can actually, like, extract, like, pick up the item from a slot, which currently is not letting us do. But apparently, when I was trying to type craft supplies, I instead typed craft supples. Yep. That's a thing that happened, everybody. We will... do we still want to ask the Matrix at the, like... So we need to actually take XP from the player as well for this. So we... don't think we actually need to ask the parent for that, come to think of it. Like, that's more or less the only thing it's doing here for the most part. Yeah, that's me doing. Craft supples, transform people getting top surgery, be like, don't know about that necessarily, but Don't mind me just very much dealing with, inventories. Which are always a mess. Okay. Take? Does that just return something else, I wonder? No, it just marks it dirty, okay. But interestingly, slot crafting doesn't do that. Wonder if that's related. Intriguingly, on take doesn't actually set the contents of the slot, surprisingly. I would have expected them to actually set them to null. Well, to empty, to be exact. But, I presume there's something else that does that. So currently, we have got our brand new inscribing system working, except for the output part. So we've gotten it to actually set the item in the slots correctly, and we're trying to actually pick it up. And from there, actually decrement and extract all of our resources and such. Okay. Firstly, Marsh, politicians and, like, rich people being, like, compared to Lord Farquaad has been happening since Lord Farquaad. Secondly, bunker protocol, please. Let's not. So, Lance, if you haven't seen it already, the spell inscribing system in various oddities got significantly more complicated. And yet also easier, because it only lets you enter things that result in things you could actually grab. It is grabbing it. Interesting. I can see it briefly trying to take it out. But we're still not able to pick it up. What's happening there? If I shift... Oh dear. Okay, yep, if I shift click, things crash is what happens. What happened there? Current spell was null, was the answer. I'm guessing it was null, am I correct there? Yep, null pointer. Didn't anticipate for that one. Crafting table code? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's take the reference to the parent container out for the moment. Can fulfill reagents. We should be able to get that from our craft reagents now. So there's that. Oh dear. Thanks for that, lads. Oh. Well, that's tea in the lungs. I'm fine, Dusty. You don't have to chug it like a madman. I mean, I was told to chug, 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 chug. So I chug, chug, chug. Actually, what's the past tense of chug? Chag? Who knows? I'm fine. Okay, so that's one more thing taken out of the hands of the actual main container and put into the slot. Is this then asked for anywhere? Only the old one asks that. Okay. So we no longer care. And we're currently not alerting the container, so that's fine. Yeah. I owe Carol 2 hugs. Oh, I mean, I owe Carol many hugs, which is a little harder to hug these days. Well, this Carol is very easy to hug. A human Carol is much harder to hug these days. I don't expect that we fixed this, but let's have a look. Magic Missile's a good test case for this, because it's, Oh, right, we crashed, so we lost all of our, we lost all the stuff that was in that container. Okay, alright, well, that's fine. Just grab some paper and some ink. Okay. Nope, still not letting us. And if we shift click, we get it, but nothing changes here. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Okay. We have more tinkering to do then. Meow.
I forgot to add this to the glass.
Thank you very much, Esper. Need a bigger, better point sink? One that doesn't involve you deciding to inhale a cup of tea? I mean, I do that most mornings. That's not unusual. Hang on, set slot contents. Oh, inventory crafting is its own thing. Okay, so what could be afflicting, I guess with the phrase here, our held item? That's the question. Why can't we see, or why can't we take out the item? That's the question. And to presume that can take stack is referenced. So, is shift key down, otherwise handle mouse to click, pick up all. At which time, do not have a problem with pixie sticks, they just are better than pickled vegetables. Yeah. Window click, yeah, okay. Slot in does not equal null, slot ID equals that, okay. Slot ID, item stack, okay. Oh. I want to say that there's maybe something inside of like container workbench that's related to this, or GUI workbench. Or can interact with. That might be it, actually. No, I'm pretty sure when that returns false, it just exits, so it's probably not that. I'm sure I've had this problem before. Yet I know not what it was. That at least should mean that when we do that, we'll trigger the untake functionality, which apparently we didn't before. Let's see, transfer stack and slot, where are you? Do you trigger the untake part? Onslaught change? Nah. There's the slot untake. Yeah, so it does need to get triggered there. Okay, well, now it does. Interactive, container closed, matrix changed, regular workbench. Looks all fine there. Can emerge. Looks to be fine. I'm tempted though to just actually say that container ink paper doesn't actually extend from container ink for a hot minute. And then a lot of stuff happens. And now it doesn't know about half of what it's looking at. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have any of the inventories. Was it a fireball that pickled vegetables? Wow. Actually, there's only a handful of stuff here that we should need to be worried about. So, if this fixes it, then we know what the problem was. It's something inside container ink. Slot size, yep, need that. Pretty much all slots in Minecraft are size 18. What am I missing here? Their inventory is there, but it's not currently set. There. Okay. And what is your problem? No enclosing instance of container ink is accessible. Right. We can change that though, because now we don't actually need slot ink, because slot ink just does this, essentially, is item valid. So with that, ooh, I'm trying to think. If we're generating it at that point, we should be able to just tell it. Because in much the same way this is. So let's see, public boolean is item valid, item stack, stack in, return stack in dot get item equals vo items dot ink, and stack in metadata equals enum dicolor White.metadata. Now what's your problem? That constructor is not recognized? What? Oh, right, because I think we're skipping over the slot size. Maybe. Just a little bit, not sure. No, because it's fine down there. What's your problem? Inventory, free integers. You're being given free integers. What are you being given? Same thing. Index X and Y. I am confusion. Did I miss? Oh, I think I see. Blip, blip. There. Job done. When you're in a car and there's a wreck, you are contusion. Okay, Boolean. Is item valid? Okay, and that one's blue, and that one's red. There. Exact same thing accomplished, but without using slot ink. Is paper still stuck? Well. I suppose we could just ask the slot, paper slot, if it's valid. That's another thing fixed. It's fine to ignore that for the moment. Yep, don't need that. If this magically fixes it, then we know where the root of the problem was. There are errors! Oh no! Let's see where, but ink paper. Yeah, it is in fact in here. Okay. Right. This is the old one. Well, thankfully, there's at least only the two. Good. Okay, we have 3 warnings, but that's fine for the moment because we anticipate that when we're retooling stuff like this, anyways. So, if you're just stopping by, the old system of making magic spells, like scrolls, was that you had 4 colors of ink, and you had to enter them into a combination of 4. That could be all blue, it could be red, blue, green, white, it could be white, green, red, blue, white, green, red, red, all sorts of that. And it was randomly determined by the World Seed, with just a few, like, spells requiring specific inks to turn up in their combination. Order mattered, combination mattered, that kind of thing. But it was hell. Honestly, it was a bad idea. I had good intentions going into it, which was to prevent people from just starting day one, okay, I make kill everything Armageddon spell, because I know what the color combination is or whatever, and everyone dies. There was no challenge anymore. Now we have some significant controls, and we also have dramatically increased the amount of spells that we can have, whilst actually making it easier to find specific spells. Not just because their combinations are now fixed, but because the GUI specifically cuts out anything that wouldn't make sense with the ones you've already entered. So, since we know that the combination for Magic Missile is always that, then we can always find it, and it'll just eliminate anything outside the combination that we've already got. Okay, now we can pick it up, and it is taking stuff out. Okay, so it is something inside of... it is something inside of Container Inc. that was doing that. Okay, well that's fine, because we've gotten this working. The path to social gatherings was paved with good intentions. Fair. Okay, the only thing that we're not doing currently is decreasing the paper, so we'll just... like, we can just go through and we'll take out basically everything. Oh, there's a problem there, that's for sure. There's a problem there, which I think was just that I limit these to 8. And we obviously need to tell that we can't put stuff in it. That's a thing. But that's good stuff. That's progress. That's good. Okay, we can now actually take things out. Grand. So Container Ink paper. Result ink revised. Let's see, slot crafting. Public boolean is item valid needs to always return false, and that'll prevent us from putting anything in it. Ostensibly, I've had weirder things happen. Okay. That should be the last thing that needs, so then it decreases on that, it decreases on that. We do need to tell it to decrease craft supplies, decrement stack size in X0, that is our paper slot. It is checking the reagents, not that we have a spell that actually uses reagents right now, but we will momentarily. So then the next thing that we need to fix up is shift clicking, I guess. We should be fine. How did I get my fan base? I appeared on much more popular YouTubers' channels. That was about it, really. Some of those YouTubers were awful people. Others not so much. For a lot of people, I appeared on terrible YouTubers' channels and was better than them in basically every measurable way, except for popularity. So some of their audience migrated over to me. You know who you are, and you know who I'm talking about. But also, like, I've been doing this for 11 years at this point, so that kind of helps. Okay, that looked like it worked. Let's try putting in more than one piece of paper now. Because we should be able to make about 42 or so Magic Missile scrolls here. Ordinarily, we'd be limited by, like, how much XP that we have, but... yeah, because there's a problem there, because it is not putting it back. The reason it's not putting it back, I believe, is most probably because it's only set by the GUI. The GUI is trying to check everything else. So... the videos that were specifically attached to the comics aren't available anymore. There is a reason for that. It's because they got posted to our cringe on Reddit. So then I got comments telling me to end my life. Yeah, that's why those that's why the old the memory loss vlogs no longer are visible for the most part. Okay. So if current spell does not equal null, and that's okay. Updates. Yes, that's where we want to be. Right. So we could try getting, if we add a get to the set current. Magic effect. Return this dot current spell. Okay. And GUI Inc. revised. Back over to you. If container.get current spell does not equal this dot current spell, then container set current spell this dot current spell. There. So that should mean that it actually like updates itself. So you'll still only get one, as opposed to say with a workbench where you can craft like an entire stack of something per click. But that's fine because there's an XP cost to this. You shouldn't be able to get like a stack of stuff. Like, let me see, for a level 9 spell, you would need, let's see, about 40 levels. For a stack of level 9 spells, which is still not going to happen because the scroll only go to 8 anyways, but you would need 2,559.7 levels. Yeah, that happened during the, like, let's see, 3rd year of my university life? 3rd or 4th, something in that region. So, yeah, they've been going a while. Okay, so there we are. Still not fixing it up. Interesting. Yeah, it's not changing that until it updates there. Okay, So how... I guess we could just say on craft matrix changed at that stage then? So this dot parent container dot on craft matrix changed. And then it should go back through, make sure that that's there, and of course once the GUI recognizes that we don't have enough, so blip, it should reset that. Ostensibly. To get this working right. Why are square arranged like that? What do you mean? Like the buttons around the edges? I have no more tea. Can you think of a better way that they're all unaligned? No, they're not, actually. They're not on a grid, but they are arranged. They're actually following a repeating formula. You should have water? I mean, I had. Not anymore. But yeah, these buttons are actually arranged in concentric circles, but only around where they actually need to be. So these are all of the blue ones. These are all of the green ones, the red ones, the white ones. So they're actually arranged intelligently, and they are mirrors of each other. But they are arranged according to formula, as opposed to, like, a grid. Which I think gives it a rather nice shape, personally. I should have unadulterated water. Now you see it? Yeah. It's a little harder to tell when you're in survival mode, because if we go to survival mode, you can only see ones that you actually know about. In this case, I know the ones for Magic Missile and the ones for Ward of Blindness, because that's in my inventory here. But if you're a high-level Archmage, or you're carrying like 5 or 6 different like spell books inside of your inventory, theoretically you can identify all of the different properties with just 5 spells. Theoretically. Then you see the full layout. Also, it sticks. It is indeed. Back in 10 minutes, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to the final hour of our stream tonight, and we've gotten quite a bit going, so we can now actually craft our spells inside of here. We can inscribe them, and I think I think we can cast, we can inscribe Word upon this as long as I'm in, creative mode. There we are. So if we take it out, it subtracts all the materials quite happily. If we shift click, it will continue, and then we still have a problem there. Okay, so we need to update that. We need to figure out what's going on with that, because clearly that's not working out. It will fix itself if we actually like do that, but we need to actually get it to work properly. I don't know why you might want to make several stacks worth of scrolls of blindness, but we're gonna find out, okay? I'm sure somebody will figure out a reason. You knew the stream when I refresh the page? It does that for me if I've muted it somewhere else. Get rid of that, I guess. Oh, that's probably why, because we turned that off. Crafting supplies, we don't need to worry about anymore. Setting the slot, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We will get the experience done, though. Okay, and let's reinstate that down here. Okay, so that should hopefully mean that it actually does the things. We'll find out. As long as it updates, that's what we're looking for. Now, if we wanted to, we could have it already start adding like ones and such. But for right in the moment, not a huge concern. We're still kind of focusing on getting scrolls working properly. But once we fix that, we can then simplify this container and whatnot. We can then port that over to the existing inscribing tables, make sure everything's working quite happily. So, condemnation, vision, sound, precision, and darkness. Word of blindness. Shift click. Still has a problem. Okay. Wonder what could be causing that. Probably the fact that there's a return value here. So we actually need to be saying that way higher up. Actually, we already are. Interesting. So, what's going wrong here? If we check the workbench, that's probably a good place to start. Lang is Ganesh from— what on earth are you talking about, Marsh? What on earth? If indeed on earth. Onslaught change? So change on take right there. Stack in slot dot get count equals the output slot dot get count. Okay, I might have to do some some shenaniganry here. Is there a point where this gets returned before? Right there. Frosting? Ever had a hostess cupcake. No? Then again, I've only been on like a plane once. Well, several planes in a chain, but still. Don't use that. Oh, this is the paper one. That's the one we're replacing right now. That's fine. It's like frosting, but not. Oh, okay. Flailing about what's on a cereal bar. I would not begin to guess. Let's see. If the input equals the output, return empty. Okay, so it wants to go after that. So if the thing that you're clicking on in your inventory is paper, then it goes into the paper slot. If it's magic ink, then it goes into... Jeez, oh yeah, it tries to go into the ink slots. If it's your main inventory, then it goes to your hotbar. And if it's your hotbar, it tries to go to main inventory. Otherwise, okay. Do we even have nice slots? Yes, we do. You cannot shift-click into the reagent slots, because there might not even be anything allowed in there. Is that? I wonder if that's literally the only thing that was changing. That's literally the only time that's cold as well. There's a lot of cases here where I think that's about this. That should be about identical now. It's just a matter of whether we're calling the on-take part. But if we're calling the on-take part, then we should be getting rid of the materials. Anyways, the question is why aren't we seeing... Oh, the question is why aren't we seeing the screen updated? Let's see. So if container.get current spell does... Ah! That could be it. We're not clearing the spell, so it's not updating the item there. We are telling it on take, so... But we are also telling it on result taken. I'm gonna tell it to recalc that. And then that might fix it up. Yeah, what we're trying to do here is make it so that we can actually shift-click spells, because significant benefit there. And once we got that, we can have the reference slot, and the reference slot will just be checked by the GUI. If, like, we have access to all pieces in it, including it, then there we go. just set the current set to the set from the reference slot. Yeah, spellbooks are going to be really helpful here, because if you have a full spell book, you'll probably have access to basically every single spell property that you can see here. There we go. Okay, it's dropping it on us, but that's fine. Nope. There we go. All the way up. All the spells, like, we completely burned through our ink there, because it takes 3 white ink per word spell to do that. At least. Okay, that works. Grand. Next stop. Simplifying it, cloning it, so that container ink is more like our current container ink paper, and then adding 1 slot, which is the reference slot, and putting that into the inscribing table. Hooray! So let's just go all the way down here, because this is basically everything we need. We don't need container ink paper to really be doing anything at this stage. Okay. Is the recipe manager still in here? Why are we even... Huh. Okay, no, that needs to be like 4, I believe. Which is the craft matrix even used? There's a point. Because there's literally nothing that interacts with it. That's the combo slots, those aren't even visible. This is where I find out that taking these out has broken everything. Yeah, right there. Well, you're just null already. We don't mind. Yeah, there's the combination. There's gonna be problems here. Yep. If it's not one of those, then that. Okay. Why when you see all the boxes, all you see is 4 crowns surrounding the center? You could interpret it that way. That is entirely feasible. That's mostly because the crowns, like the different chunks, actually have 1 fewer, at least, buttons per the one closer in. So they just sort of arrange into triangles, which ends up looking a little crowny. So this is the revised one. It's looking for those slots, and so we need to be able to tell it. We could ask it if magic ink is valid for that, I guess. By damage. Slow my There's one, I think. Get metadata. Okay, that's one, or well, about two or so of 17 more errors to go. Okay, we don't need to care about that part. Okay, this is just gonna be completely gone by the time we're done. Container ink table. What is your problem? Okay, once again, we can simplify that. Actually, we just need to add the reference slot, don't we? Result, paper, combination, inventory, there's your reference slot. And what do we need inside of container ink now? It is player inventory, world, and block position. Where's the X base there? It's not gonna matter because we need to do it anyways. Okay, down to 10 errors. GUI ink paper we can probably just get wholesale rid of at this stage, because it is completely replaced by ink revised. Update container ink is not used anywhere anymore, I don't think. Yep, no references, we can get rid of it. What are we down to now? 6! Hooray! Because the ink table is still using most of the old code. When instead, it actually needs to be more or less cloned from ink paper. Marsh is highly concerned we say that prepackaged pastries do not have soft frosting / icing. Really? Oh, GUI ink replaced. There we go. And that requires container, should be an ink now, shouldn't it? Cannot instead shake container ink. Oh, of course. Yes, of course you can't. So I need to make a GUI ink and then tell that, well, I need to update GUI ink and then just mostly give that this whole thing here. And just give it the right stuffs. GUI button ink, yeah, those aren't relevant anymore. Nope. And then pretty much everything's just handled by that one thing there. Draw container background. That's the only thing that we need to add in here. foreground, container background. There you are. Which I'm probably gonna regret getting rid of all of these, but it's probably fine, let's be real. Let's see, initialize, update, ink, action. Let's see, GUI ink, where have you gone? There you are. Help if I'd actually told this to go to there. Okay. And I just need this texture. You still got a problem? Property textures. Right, because you need to know what those little icons and such are. There. Okay. GUI ink table needs to come out of GUI ink. And we need a player. Which we don't seem to have currently. Don't need the recipes coming in anymore. Once again, pretty much everything is handled here. Reference slot, reference stack can stay. Let's see if there's the update screen, which we are going to want. Don't care there. Don't care about that. Don't care. References we're gonna want. Don't want to draw item in slot anymore. Don't need to spell recipe information at all. You can mostly just copy what we've already got, really, for the most part. Updating reference is going to be a separate, a very different thing now. Oh, this is so much faster. Meow? What? Am I entirely baffled by the chat? Teensy bit, yeah. When left unattended, we will talk nonsense. Clearly. All three of us are sleep drunk. All three of my viewers. Okay, that's that. Down to 3 problems now. GUI ink revised requires an actual container. Okay. Which means we need this value anyways, so... For 13 years to have a lot of lock-in, Let's see, refactor this, so it's now GUI ink paper. And what is the problem here? This container ink paper is a thing that exists. Oh, but it doesn't extend from container ink yet, because we did all that stuff. Right. Well, we don't need to do anything special, so blip. Max spell level is a thing we're gonna want. Everything else, though, can blip, go away. So what is it the container ink is asking for? Player inventory, world, and block position. I'll do this, and absolutely nothing will work anymore. Okay, now the inscribing table is complaining, because GUI ink table doesn't meet our current standards at all. Let's see what he needs. Player inventory, talent steam. And then GUI ink table. It's player inventory. Actually, we should probably just give this a container there, shouldn't we? So let's see, the GUI wants the player, ink table, container, and the ink table. Otherwise, just return the ink table container. What is the problem with the container ink table? Does container ink require a player? No, it does not. This requires player inventory, world, and block position. All of which look fine there. Okay, one last thing. Get buttons on the scroll event, because we're no longer using those buttons at all anymore. GUI Ink no longer has those buttons. So that event is never true. Here. Okay. Who wants to see if it explodes? Who wants to see how many things I have just grievously broken? So test number 1, have I broken paper? The thing that we've just spent like 2.5-ish hours trying to fix. Teensy bit right there. You can already see that. We've definitely broken a bit of the shift clicking. range check apparently had a problem there. But okay. So, yep, there's a little bit I need to fix up with the GUI rendering. Evidently. How does cat steal a whole steak? I mean, they're carnivorous predators. Take a guess, really. But okay. We've established that there's some problems. Next question. If we use it delicately... Oh, we lost our inventory again. Okay, that's fine. If we use it delicately, can we actually get a spell? And by delicately, I mean not shift-clicking. Okay, so force, arm, precision, distance, arrow. Good. I think, except pretty sure it just took 2 blue, and it only has the 1 to take. And yet it also took 2 of the... It took 1 red and 2 blue. There's a problem there. Clearly. But that worked. Okay. Let's see. Earth, area, space, precision. Sustenance. Lesser living terrain. Okay. Did take 2 of the green. Did not take... I think that took another blue instead of a red. I might need to change up where those are drawing from. Those 2 might be reversed. But it did take 2 white. Okay. Grand. Next question. How badly have I just destroyed the ink table? Oh boy. Okay, let's find out. Can't even access it. Okay. What happened there? Index out of bounds, that's why. Yep, because it tried to get a reference slot that no longer exists, because slot 50 doesn't exist in this anymore. Okay. Right, because we got rid of the combination slots, so it's like 46, I think. So I tried to open it, it was out of bounds, couldn't get it, didn't bother to actually do it. As presuming the container ink table even adds that slot now. Yes, it does. Okay. But yeah, we got rid of 4 inventory slots inside of the containers because we no longer need them for combination. How's Gilgamesh doing? Impervious to harm. As a good Gilgamesh should be. Sorry for anybody watching who's a little out of the loop. In the test world here, just over here, next to this suspiciously rumbling piece of terrain, we have Gilgamesh the chicken, which is a chicken that has been, by way of MBT data, rendered invulnerable to harm. And we use that for testing attack procedures. And somewhere under there is Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yes. Which is a little sort of Easter egg you can get from the bullets. Okay. How about now? Now we got it. The slot is in the wrong place, but it's also apparently referencing here, which I need to change. But nonetheless, there we go. So if we put our inks in, gingerly to say the least, we should still be able to actually craft stuff. Diff. Sound, condemnation, precision, and harm. It's a word of death. Which is basically you look at somebody, say something, and they die. But okay, that works. Good. So, we haven't destroyed that, but we do have some problems that we need to fix. Okay. Grand, do I think I can fix that in the next 15 minutes? Probably not, but we'll try. So, it's looking at the craft supplies list, but it is only... It's looking at index 5. And how many slots are in craft supplies? That's the question. Craft supplies, I think, is already generated by Container Inc. Reagents, results, supplies, right there. So that's why it wouldn't get them out. Okay, so to that end, I need to have an input for crafting supplies into the actual main container section, Container Inc. Okay. Easy enough to add. If they have under 100 hit points, yes. Oh, if it has an effect on them if they don't. I did it again. Craft supples. Call that supplies in, shall we? Oh, of course. Okay, so make that null then. That shouldn't cause any problems. No, it doesn't. Okay. So now we should be able to just say... That's the GUI. That's fine. Now we should just be able to say tile entity. So now it'll actually use the contents of the play, or it should. What's the problem here? Oh, is it protect? Is it private? Is that the problem? Nope, that's public. That was a bad idea. GUI Inc. uses that bunch. Okay, blank field craft supplies. Ah, right, yes, because that's also up here. There. Okay, now it should actually use the inventory of the ink table. Okay, next problem. Actually making sure that the reference slot refers to the actual proper thing. Now that it actually references that, it should be able to see that. So the tile entity ink table should have a 5-slot inventory. Well, 6, including the output, I guess. Contained, yes, good. Okay. Let's see if that'll let us work with it then. Yeah, let's see, we've got 3 power word spells currently in the listings. Blindness, as you saw there, was vision and darkness. Deaf was... I can't recall, deaf and change? Deaf and harm? I'm not sure. And then we also have stun, which is, I'm trying to think, it's chaos and trick. Chaos and trickery is the 2 distinct ones for that. Because it gives you the nausea effect and makes you drop whatever you're holding. think also slowness. Okay. Still got that scroll of greater living terrain there, which is definitely not meant to be there. If we grab that. Like, there's only... It's greater living terrain. I'm guessing that's the one I put in there before. Okay. And now we suddenly have everything. Because I forgot that this is going to restock itself. And that these container currently ejects its items. So that's a thing I need to change, obviously. And shift clicking still breaks stuff. Gotcha. Okay, container ink. On close. There you are. Let's move that over to container ink paper. Let's also move that over to here. So over in container ink table, we can say you have to move in a certain radius, not unlike how a crafting bench does. So container ink table, clear container of reagents only? That's fine. Let's see, anything else here? Don't think so. Okay. So, next thing, GUI ink table. If we go over to that, we need to check our reference slot. We need to check what's in that reference slot. If there's something in that index slot, we need to get the spell of it. And if it has a spell, try to implement Meteor relatively easily. Then we need to update our spell, our current set. We need to set our spell. So let's see, if we go back to GUINK, we have our current set here, which is our list of spells, and mostly that should be fine. If we just set our current set, then that should ultimately update our spell. Okay, straightforward enough. So if our reference slot doesn't have a stack, our reference stack isn't empty, then update that to that. Okay, then yes, this dot current set. I say clear inscription, I think would be the phrase. There. Otherwise, so let's see, there's all those. If current reference, update reference, okay. Let's just create a function for this, shall we? Not the code of it, what it will do. Oh no, who knows? Then let me see, clear our inscription. Magic effect. If spell does not equal null, then this dot current set equals spell dot get spell properties. Logwedge stack is fine. Okay. Else. Clear inscription again. There. You shouldn't ever be able to put anything in there that doesn't have a spell, but if by some means it gets removed or whatever, then it should clear up. There's a reason Meteor's level 9. I mean, we have a couple of level 9 spells, I think. Okay. It should now mean that it will automatically fill in if we have our list here. So, let's see. There's another thing that we need to do here, which is that currently the list of available properties is based on your main inventory and your innate properties, but we don't add our reference slot to that list, so we need to do that. So GUI Inc. Real quickly, right before we end here. Where are you? Get possible properties, get current spell, can use property from inventory. So GUI Inc. table there. So super.player can use property from inventory. So if not, let's see, is it ref stack? That is empty. Then we ask, is it on the reference thing? It should be, by all writs, it should be. So then, let's see, magic effect, spell equals item spell container. Real quick here, get spell from our reference stack. Go grab food bar? Okay, yep, enjoy food. If spell doesn't equal null, and spell get properties contains property in, return true. There. So that should now mean that it includes the reference slot when it's checking if you can use them from your inventory. Okay. Let's see if our inscribing table now actually has its reference slot again. Obviously, there are some bugs. That's to be expected. We had it working in one context, and now we put it into a completely different one. Well, not completely one, but we've reworked quite a bit. We had our chewing gum all in one place, and now we've stretched it, and there's been some loss. It's a weird analogy, but it gets the visual I'm thinking of. Okay, so firstly, if I exit this, it shouldn't dump into my inventory, and it hasn't, thanks Smeg. Okay, and the slot currently is positioned up here for the reference. We're going to be moving that over to here. So if we put Greater Living Terrain, it automatically fills it in for us, quite nice. Take it out, it clears, good. And if I put Magic Missile in, grand. And there was a problem there. What was that problem? Let's see, it was part of the update table in clear inscription part. What happens? Apparently it was already in. It was an unsupported operation. Apparently. Let's see, updates. If reference stack itself is not empty, then reference stack equals empty, clear inscription. Should already done that. Interesting. Did we? That means we'd already taken something out and it didn't do that. That's interesting. Trying to think if. I could probably just make a case on this. If item stack in ref equals this dot ref slot dot get stack can make a very considerable like chase up of this, but it's probably probably fine just to have it referencing there. Probably. So let's see what happens exactly when we hit that clear command. What happens? Removes all the elements from this list. It will be empty after this call returns. Refers unsupported operation if the clear operation is not supported by this list. Interesting. That must be part of how we were setting the contents when we update the reference. Okay. Might be able to see where that's from. Fruit and is still alive. Yes, very, very, very narrowly here. Let's see, this dot current set dot clear and this dot current set dot add all spell dot get spell properties. There. That should prevent it going very wobbly. It's probably that this isn't an array list, so I didn't quite understand it originally. Don't need that, don't need that, shouldn't need that, don't need that. Don't need that for sure. Okay. Like, is that purely... apparently that's from list. Weird. Okay, that should mean that we don't get that happening again. Let's find out real quick. Again, there's still some problems, obviously. Shift clicking is heavily borked, and the highlighting of what ink goes where is also borked, but we're getting there. Let's see if that crashes again. Okay, Great Living Terrain. Yep, filled in. Take that out. Word of Death. All good. Lesser Living Terrain. Looks good. I lost my Scroll of Magic Missile, but it's fine. I can just re-enter it. Or I thought I could. There's clearly a problem here. Which is, of course, that it's checking yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. I can fix that and whatever's happening here. Quite happily. Ha! Okay, everybody, we are significantly greater powerful wizards and such now. Hope you've enjoyed. That is, of course, all I have for you today, but I hope you've all enjoyed. My next stream should be tomorrow, both at 7 and 9. So at 7, we have some Dungeons & Dragon hats. We'll be seeing what happens with our future-seeing robot friend Artifice. And then at 9, I have a bonus stream, because we hit 20 subscribers, which is not a great deal compared to a lot of people on this platform, but it is for me. And then on, so consequently we'll be having our little bonus stream at 9 there, nice little tidy cozy stream. And then on Thursday night we have some Monster Hunter Worlds, and then on Friday at 9 we have Friday night with some more Vampire, where we've cured basically every ailment known to man inside of Whitechapel. Let's see what that does for us. And then on Saturday we have more streams of D&D at 7 with the main campaign, which I am the Dungeon Master of, followed by the Carousel and I am some random games, and we'll be back for more programming on a Tuesday night. Meanwhile, I do make videos over youtube.com/remembercomic. You can see that up there in the banner. And everything I do is powered by people like you, helping me survive this pandemic and being self-isolated and all that kind of jargon, at Patreon, at patreon.com/lying. So, hope you've all enjoyed, and I shall as ever catch you all next time.